Hello and welcome to Linesniper Fight Night. I'm your host, Dave Millhouse. This week we're talking UFC 264, McGregor versus Poirier 3 from T-Mobile Arena in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. This is a stacked card. It's going to be so much fun. All the fights in the main card are great, but these prelims, man, there is some really good-looking prelims too. Must-see kind of stuff. I got my man Joe with me at Fire Up MMA Capper. We're going to go through it all the main cards, sprinkle the prelims, find you all the value on Saturday night so you can enjoy making some money watching the violence from your couch in your living room. How you doing, Joe? Welcome to the show.
Good. How you doing today, Dave? Excited to get started.
Today's a good day. Yeah, it's going to be fun. So we got McGregor, we got Poirier. They each got one knockout. This is a trilogy. We're lined right around a pick 'em right now. You can actually get McGregor at plus money on a few sites. What do you think, Joe? Is there value on either side here?
So I do see value on a side here. I'm going to start with kind of breaking down the fights on how I saw things play out. So a lot of people are talking about, there's a few things I want to point out that I feel like doesn't really matter. So they're pointing out the first fight, that was, 6-7 years ago at 145. I really feel like that fight has no ground on how Saturday's going to play out. So I've seen the fight 100 times. I didn't watch it for this film session to get into research. I feel like it doesn't mean much. But going back to our last fight, a lot of people I feel like lately have been kind of destroying McGregor. Like they're just talking down him. I hear people saying he's washed. I don't think he's washed. I mean, he's lost to Khabib, Mayweather, the best boxer of all time, arguably the best MMA fighter of all time, Khabib, and Dustin Poirier, who's no slouch. That's what brought us here today with their trilogy. So I don't think he's washed. He did win round one, and Poirier even said he had him a little wobbled, and McGregor may have been able to finish him the first time. So I don't think McGregor's washed. In saying that, I think Dustin's the right side to be on here. I think he comes from a great camp at ATT. He won their fight that's just 6 months ago. It's not like we're doing another rematch where it's, like I mentioned, the first fight's not 6 years later where there's a ton of adjustments. I mean, I'm sure McGregor's a very smart guy. He beat Diaz the second time. He's good in rematches. He always makes adjustments. He's a smart fighter. I do think McGregor's the better striker here. He does hit like a truck. I think the full crowd's going to be another element that may get to Dustin a little bit. But Dustin's not he's not a rookie fighter. He's a veteran of the game. I don't think the crowd's going to get to him as much, but just point out a few different X factors. But when looking at the fight, I feel like Dustin's the better wrestler, has better BJJ, better cardio. The leg kicks got to McGregor the first time. I expect McGregor to make adjustments there. And also, there's an old saying, it's tough to, if I was a millionaire, I don't know if I'd want to step into a cage with people and cut weight and do a full camp. So Conor has a ton of different side businesses. There's a lot of things going on in his life where it makes it tough for him to really want to fully commit to the fight game, which, I honestly don't blame him for. Like I said, if I was a millionaire, I don't know if I'd want to do a full fight camp, cut weight, and then go fight one of the nastiest guys in the world who weighs 155 pounds. So I'm leaning Poirier. I haven't bet it yet. I honestly think I can get Poirier fight night at plus money. I think the public money is going to pour in on Conor as it normally does. So I haven't locked it in yet, but regardless, on fight day, I'm going to bet Poirier. Whatever line I get, the best line I'm going to take, but I'm expecting it to be at least even money, or maybe plus 110. Like you said, right now, Conor's a slight dog, but I expect that to flip. And I like Dustin Poirier here. I think Conor's path to victory is an early knockout the first 2 rounds, which don't get me wrong, Conor has the power. He can do it. I do, that is a possibility, but if you're capping this fight, I think Dustin Poirier is the right side to be on. Another side bet I do like, I know this is juicy, but I feel like it's a solid parlay piece, especially this is a 5-round fight. Fight does not go to decision. I feel it's very solid. I see it right now around minus 350. I know it's juicy. But Conor, when he gets hurt at times, he does quit. I wouldn't say quit. You don't say any fighter quits, but you know what I mean, where he gets hurt and against Poirier, he stopped. He got stopped against Khabib. Or he wins by early stoppage against Poirier. So I like fight doesn't go to a decision as well.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't really see this going the distance, which also makes it harder for me to handicap because I like to rely on data a lot. And, my eyes too, I watch the film, but I like to know that someone will be ahead on the scorecard rather than relying on the variance of a strong punch landing somewhere for either guy. This is a tough one to call, man. If we look at the data, it's like the same. They're both striking about the same amount of strikes per minute, getting hit about the same. Accuracy and defensive percentages are the same. There's really no edge there. I mean, they even have very similar reach, same height. They're basically the same age. There's nothing to point to here. And when we're looking for line value, I mean, it's got to be something that's not priced in. So obviously all the stats on veterans like this are priced in. Everything's priced in. So now it's down to adjustments. Now, I do think McGregor is a more dangerous striker. I do think he landed some really good shots in round one last fight. And if he lands those again, he's going to be that close again to finishing it. What he needs to do is check some leg kicks and counter off them. He needs to throw some kicks too. He's got good kicks. He just wasn't letting them go at all himself. I don't really know what to think here. If this was going the distance, I'd be all over Conor McGregor. And that's just because I don't believe that the judges would score it against him in any close round. I think that he means so much to the UFC. He's so much money for them that the judges do shitty things all the time. I think they would honestly give McGregor any close round, which means Dustin would have to win by like a spread per round to win on the scorecards. But having said that, I don't think this is going the distance either, so it makes it really tough. But what I will allude to for a betting angle that I do believe is plus EV here is Dustin Poirier tends to lose round one all the time, like all the time. I think he lost it to Hooker for sure, Khabib, you name it, go down his list. He's more of a come from behind guy. He takes a little while to settle in. McGregor starts hot. This guy wins every round one he's ever had in his life. And, that flips the live line. That flips it pretty good. And I think right now, I know you can get Conor at plus money. I think by fight time, you're probably right. He'll probably be a small favorite. And I think after he wins round one, we're talking 4, 5, 6 minutes into the fight, I think you can get Dustin Poirier like plus 180, plus 200. So that's how I would be looking to attack the main event. And I'm not sure if I am yet, but super close fight. I think it's lined fairly appropriately. I would say maybe there's actually an edge on McGregor, but he's going to have to come in with good cardio and he's going to have to want it. You can't be at the top of the mountain. You can't just hang out there. You don't climb and work that hard to get there and then just sit on a couch on the top of the mountain. So I don't know how much he wants it. Like you said, does he need this? Not really. But if he wins it, that's millions and millions of dollars worth of whiskey he'll sell, more pay-per-views in the future. It's really good for his business. So I hope he wants it. We'll see a better fight. But if you're looking at Poirier, I would wait a few minutes into the fight. If you like McGregor, now is the time. Let's get on to the co-main event. Gilbert Burns, Stephen Thompson. This is an absolute banger, in my opinion. I love this fight. Why don't you take us through it?
Yeah, this is a fight that I'm also really excited about. This is a classic striker versus grappler matchup, where obviously the striker and Stephen Thompson, he has that wide karate stance that did give Gilbert Burns some trouble in the Gunnar Nelson fight. So that's one fight that I really kind of put a check mark next to, which has me leaning towards Stephen Thompson. In saying that, the way Gilbert Burns, he's not a bum striking at all. He's a great striker. The way Gilbert Burns wins this fight is by taking Thompson down, wearing on him, and hopefully potentially getting a sub. He's one of the best BJJ players in the sport. And Gilbert Burns does have some power. A few things that I noticed in film, like I mentioned, the first one was the Gunnar Nelson fight. I thought that one really stood out to me. The other one was in the Kamaru Usman fight. When Burns had a great round one, he had him hurt. And then when Kamaru landed that one jab, when I remember watching it live, it just felt like the entire fight flipped. You notice Burns' eyes get wide. He looked like he saw a ghost. I'm afraid that's what's kind of going to happen here with Thompson. I think Thompson's going to manage his reach better. He's an elite striker, one of the best in the sport, better footwork. And I feel like he's going to stay from outside and pick Burns apart. I don't think Thompson has the power of Usman, but I think he's a better all-around striker than Usman. And I think Burns is going to be kind of swinging and missing. And if don't get me wrong, if Burns can take Thompson down, he's in a the fight leans towards him absolutely at that point. But as of now, it's a pass. I'm leaning more and more as I keep talking about it towards Thompson because after watching that Gunnar Nelson fight, Burns won the fight, but Gunnar Nelson isn't Thompson, and Burns still struggled to get inside of Gunnar Nelson when Thompson's a much better version, of Gunnar Nelson, I guess. But I think the question comes down to if Burns can take Thompson down, control him, potentially lock in a sub. But if the fight stays standing, I think Gilbert Burns is in some big trouble here. So this one's one of those rare ones where right now I have a pass. If line moves it off towards Thompson, I'm going to be on Thompson. But as of now, it's a pass. And I think it could be good for live betting.
Okay. Yeah, this is one where I like Stephen Thompson. I circled him right away. Not only does he land a strike a minute more, he also gets hit with a quarter of a strike less per minute. He's done it against better competition and larger men. Gilbert Burns came up from lightweight, and I'm not very impressed by his schedule. This guy, after losing a fight to Dan Hooker in 2018, he fought Olivier Aubin-Mercier, Mike Davis, Alexei Kuchenko, Gunnar Nelson, a 40-something-year-old Damian Maia, absolutely washed Woodley. Nelson, Maia, Woodley, you should not get a title shot after that. And he got it. And then he landed a good shot on Usman, and everyone thinks, man, Burns was that close to winning the title. I disagree. It was a good strike. Yeah, he landed a good one. We chalk that up to variance. I don't think he belonged in a championship fight at all, to be honest. And I think this is quite a big step up for him. It's not a big step up from Usman, but it's a pretty big step up from Woodley, from Damian Maia, from Gunnar Nelson, from Kuchenko, from Mike Davis, from Mercier, and even from Dan Hooker. It's not like Dan Hooker is going to go in there and beat Usman either. I mean, that's not a good schedule. It's just really not. He's an undersized welterweight. He lands a strike a minute less, like I said, than Thompson. And I think he's going to have a lot of trouble here. Stephen Thompson, I think, is a very, very good fighter. His takedown defense is solid. It's at 78%. But his striking, his distance management is excellent. And Burns seems to me like he's got a bit of a cracked chin. I mean, Usman, like you said, that jab changed the fight. That's just a jab. Wonder Boy is going to kick this guy in the face at some point. He's going to, do that rush in combo stuff. He's going to manage his distance. I just don't really see a world where Gilbert Burns is winning on the scorecards. And I think he's going to have a lot of trouble finishing Thompson because it's hard to get him down. So, I mean, yeah, he can land one. He's certainly capable of it, but we're in the minus 155 range. I personally think that's too low. It should be over minus 200. Of course, we'll see on fight night if I'm correct. But yeah, I think there's value on Stephen Thompson here. Next up, Tai Tuivasa, Greg Hardy. The heavyweights are throwing down, and this is another one I quite like for some reason. I'm going to let you break it down, and then I'll tell you why.
Yeah, this is the first fight I got to. This is the fight that stood out to me at first, but ultimately the research kind of broke my heart. Is one that I heavily leaned towards Tuivasa at first. I was so excited to get research, thought for sure be fading Greg Hardy, who gets gassed after 2 minutes in every fight with his asthma, doesn't have any takedown defense, doesn't have any grappling, just a long volume puncher. I mean, he hits hard. Every heavyweight hits hard, but he's not like he's fighting. He's not Francis Ngannou. When I broke down the fight, though, Greg Hardy, does manage his reach well. He keeps his distance well. He's not Stephen Thompson, but he manages to reach well. He's longer than Tuivasa. And at times, Tuivasa struggled getting inside the boxing range of the one that really stuck to me was Ivanov, and Ivanov's not a very good boxer. So that was the one that kind of steered me away from passing. And another thing I noticed is Greg Hardy, he has that asthma problem where he gasses and he got in trouble. Everyone knows that Hardy has asthma issues. But I noticed he gasses more when things start to get to grappling. Like against the Tybura, he gassed quickly. Against Volkov, he didn't gas that quickly. So I think it's more of an issue when it comes to grappling, he gasses. And Tuivasa also has that they have the same weakness. Where on the ground, they're both trash. So I don't expect Tuivasa to take this one to the ground. Tuivasa he's tough as nails, great cardio, throws bombs, hits like a truck. In saying this is one I'm passing on. I lean Hardy actually after research, was kind of shocking. It close. I could see Tuivasa winning this fight, knocking out Hardy or dropping him, or if Hardy gets gassed late in the fight, I could see Tuivasa taking over. But ultimately, I think that Hardy's going to just be able to keep his distance, pick him apart. They have that same, like I said, weakness on the ground. I don't know which way are you leaning, Dave? The sides I'd look at potentially Hardy. I think it's gonna be a pass for me, and then also Tuivasa in round 3 stood out to me as a prop at plus 1100. So if Hardy does gas, I think Tuivasa is going to take over late. Tuivasa doesn't gas, hits hard. That's the side I'd look into.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I like Greg Hardy in this one. And again, I'm like you. I thought maybe Tuivasa is a good look here. And after my film study, I didn't like it at all. I guess here's the facts. Hardy lands half a strike a minute more, and he gets hit less. He's got a better defensive percentage at 56%. So only 44 get through when 50% get through on Tuivasa. And if we look at the level of competition these guys have been fighting, I think Greg Hardy's had a tougher schedule. He's also got 5 more inches of reach. And this is kind of a weird one, but I think he's the better wrestler here. He doesn't really try to wrestle, but he's fully capable of tackling a guy. We know that from his NFL career. Tai Tuivasa's takedown defense is pathetic. He can't do shit on the ground. He's got a 46% takedown defense, and every time he gets taken down, he's like beaten to a pulp or finished. Like, it's horrible.
Like a turtle.
He's never landed a takedown, and he's never attempted a takedown in his career, and that's exactly how to beat Greg Hardy. Just take him down. Well, if Tai Tuivasa wants to attempt his first takedown, maybe he's got a chance to do that here. But I don't think he's going to attempt that takedown. These boys are going to slug, and potentially, Greg Hardy might actually attempt a takedown here. He's done it before. He's landed takedowns in the UFC. And like I said, he lands a little bit more. He's got a better jab. What concerns me is, like you said, the asthma. But I mean, I know that's obviously priced in here. I do think he hits a little bit harder. I mean, they both hit hard. They're hard hitting heavyweights. But Tuivasa wants to load up the big right hand, and I think Greg Hardy will fight behind his jab. So when this comes down to the scorecards, I actually expect Greg Hardy to be ahead. It's a heavyweight fight, and obviously variance will have a shot to play a role here. But yeah, I think at plus money, Greg Hardy's probably the right side. So yeah, I'm taking Hardy, and I do think he should be a small favorite here. Irene Aldana and Yana Kunitskaya. Interesting fight. I will say it's interesting. There's a little bit of an edge in the data I will go over. But yeah, why don't you break this one down for us?
Yes, this is another one that I got excited to dive into. I initially leaned Irene Aldana. Actually, this is one of the bets I have in the card. I bet Irene Aldana just for 1 unit. A smaller bet. There's a lot of variance here, and I feel like it's kind of shocking looking back on that she was only plus 110 against Holly Holm. I'll start with that. Like Holly Holm's a monster. Kind of ageless wonder. Like she's kind of like the perfect gatekeeper of that division. But I think Irene Aldana, this is another kind of striker versus grappler. I think Aldana's a better boxer. Yana kind of works through more kicks. She works well in the clinch. I feel like every fight she gets in the clinch, that's kind of how she controls the fight. I do think this may be a close fight. I do lean Aldana. I don't have a ton of notes here. I felt like this one when I was reviewing it, I was like, there's not too much notes to take here. I expect Aldana to have more volume, be the better boxer, cause more damage. If she does get stuck in the clinch, it could very well go to Yana, but that's kind of already, like you said, factored into the line here. So I took a small stab with the 1 unit bet on Irene Aldana at minus 115. Cap her close to minus 140, 150. So I saw a little bit of value here, and that's where I went with it.
Yeah, this is a weird one. I mean, it's Aldana on the feet and Kunitskaya in the clinch, right? And really just depends how much time Kunitskaya can pin her against the cage. Realistically, I think. So for me, I actually like the over here because there will be enough time wasted, I think, in the clinch. And Aldana, yeah, she's got some finishes, but I don't know. It was a nice punch on Ketlin Vieira. But other than that, nothing really to talk about. She armbarred Betch Correa. Big deal. Like this is Kunitskaya is a little bit better than Betch, but yeah, ultimately this seems like two decision machines. One's got a little bit more volume, and the other's going to spend time in the grappling. And it's really hard to see how the judges will score it because those are always tough to score. We could say Kunitskaya controls 3 minutes of the round but doesn't do a whole lot, and Aldana lands a few more strikes. Yeah, it's going to be tough to find. But yeah, I think this one goes over the 2.5 at like a minus 500-ish clip. So let's see what it's at right now as we're doing the show. It's like minus 275, minus 300. I just think that's way too low. So a lot of people looking for parlay pieces and whatnot. I think that's a decent spot to look. Yeah, definitely a decent spot to look. So Sugar Sean O'Malley's back. He's fighting how do I even say this guy's name? Montinho? Chris Montinho? Look, this guy sucks. I watched some film on him, and he's just so hittable. He walks forward, face exposed, eats shots. O'Malley's got 5 inches of reach. He's got 4 or 5 inches of height here. And he's landing, at a 50%, 57% clip in his UFC career, 6.3 strikes a minute, only getting hit with 3.3 and absorbing 36%. So he's a plus 21% in the striking versus expected and landing 3 strikes a minute more than his competition. And I'm not going to say his competition's been good. I'm not going to say that at all. But every single one of the guys he fought would, I think, torch his competition here. So I'm going to kick it over to you, and then I'll do some prop hunting for us.
Yeah, absolutely. This is another one. I remember the first time I was on the show, we had the Leon Edwards, Nate Diaz fight, and I hated saying that I see value in Leon Edwards. I'm not going that far. I don't think there's value in Sean O'Malley at minus 900 or minus 1,000, whatever he's at in books now. I definitely wouldn't be putting money on Chris Moutinho. I'll tell you that either. I'm one of those rare guys where I actually see a lot in Sean O'Malley. I think he is an elite fighter. I think he could be top 10 already. He's one of those guys. Yes, he's getting Dana's privilege. He's facing some cans along the way. Yes, he got his leg hurt against Marlon Vera, but at the same time, if you watch his footwork, watch his striking at 26 years old, he's a very good fighter. Like I think he can be a future champ if he does things right. He hasn't faced a wrestler yet. That's a big question mark that's yet to be answered. So who knows in that regard? But one thing that if you look at him, he has done some grappling tournaments. I'm not saying he's Damian Maya, but at least he's working on it. As far as this fight goes, I kind of came away from this the same way you did with Moutinho. Uh, you know, very easy to be hit. Kind of goes to high boxing guard, moves forward, more of a volume puncher than a power puncher. O'Malley's a better striker, more reach, better footwork, elite striker, does a little bit of grappling. I think the way Moutinho wins this fight is if Sean O'Malley's legs fall off again. It's going to take a miracle like that, and I'm not putting my money on that. So, yeah, I think this is a pass. If you have O'Malley in a parlay, I'm not going to hate on it. But at the same time, I refuse to put a minus 900 parlay because it gives you, an extra like $4 maybe. Might as well just remove it just in case. But yeah, I see this as a stand-up fight where O'Malley should cruise. As far as props go, there's one I like, and actually about an hour or two ago, O'Malley was at the press conference, and he said O'Malley in round 2, and I had that written down before from last night before I knew I was doing the show, and he said it too, so I'm riding with the Sugar Show. I think he finished them in round 2 at plus 300. At round 1, in round 1's like, I think minus 175 or something. I was looking at it last night.
I got
O'Malley
round
sometimes
one at
takes his
plus
time.
130.
Oh, yeah, that's not bad either. I don't know where I got that. Yeah. Yeah, I think round 1 or round 2. I wrote down round 2, but I like them both.
Yeah. I mean, O'Malley's going to kill this guy. That's all there really is to it. He's minus 1,000. Probably should be minus 1,500, but whatever. His leg fell off once. It could happen again. But yeah, we got O'Malley in round 1 plus 130s available. O'Malley round 2 plus 300 plus 400 on one book. Those are reasonable. O'Malley by submission is plus 1,200. I don't know if he wants to submit this guy, but if he says, okay, I'm going to submit you, like he's going to do it. Not even a question asked.
Yeah.
He'll drop him and then do whatever he wants to him. So that's an interesting prop. He hasn't really attempted one in the UFC, I don't think, but he does, like you just said, he does these submission grappling tournaments. He's pretty good with jiu-jitsu. O'Malley inside the distance in the minus 350 range. Just about no chance this guy survives this onslaught. But most of all, I think there's some value on the under 1.5. You're sitting in minus 185, 190. Five Dimes has minus 165. That's pretty reasonable. That gives O'Malley 7.5 minutes to crush this guy. And if it goes longer than that, we need to give a standing O to Chris because he's just going to get lit up. This is just stupid. I don't know why on earth they're just babying O'Malley along, and I guess I get it, but I don't like
Showcase
it.
him on a counter card. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people want to see knockouts. They want to see stuff like this. Like watching a mismatch in MMA is sometimes better than watching a good fight. Good fights is like a lot of defense. Everyone's scared to give an inch, and then we get ones like this where O'Malley's going to come out and spin kick this guy in the face and then throw 10 combos on him. That's more entertaining. So I guess I see why they do it, but like they want to build a highlight reel, build a star. But yeah, this is a joke. This isn't even close to competitive. So yeah, I honestly think there's probably value on the minus 1,000, and I'm not even kidding. Like, how many times out of 100 is this guy going to win? O'Malley's probably winning this 97 or 8, literally out of 100. He's going to have to roll his ankle again to lose, like we were just talking about. So,
Yep.
Yeah, slam dunk. There's better ways to play it than minus 1,000. All were just mentioned. Let's get on with it here. That's the main card. Now it's time to sprinkle the prelims. This is my favorite fight of the night. Nico Price and Michelle Pereira. Complete animals. Both go pretty much only forward. Pereira, on the other hand, might do 2 or 3 backflips or breakdance. But other than that, he's going to be coming forward. And Nico Price brings the volume too. He's got a good shin and likes a war. These are hard-hitting big boys, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Someone's going to get hurt real bad. But when I look at this, I'm a little bit confused as to who to take. So I'm going to let you talk it over, and then we're going to hunt for some more props.
Yeah, absolutely. This is another one where I couldn't get a great read on it. I lean Pereira, I believe, but I'm still kind of on the fence. So you maybe you'll talk me into what side you see. But yeah, like you mentioned, Nico Price, Michelle Pereira. This is the fight where if there's a fight that's going to be fight of the night, if you can bet on fight of the night, this is probably the one to take. Both these guys, big fighters, hit like trucks, both super exciting, wild. They're not afraid to get hit, but also dish it out. Pereira does, like you said, some, as they say, spinning shit. He throws anything spinning, jumping, he'll throw it all, throw everything at you, including the kitchen sink. The reason why it's hard to bet on Pereira, if you go back and watch that Tristan Conley fight, man, it's still in the back of my head. I bet him in a parlay there at minus 450, and that was the reason why I lost that parlay, and I wanted to cry. Tristan Conley was like a 135 or 145, where he went up to 170, I think, and took the fight and beat
Yeah.
Pereira actually gassed and was dancing the whole way down the dance aisle. I think since then, Pereira, had that DQ against Diego Sanchez, but since then he's looked a lot more serious, focusing more on defense. And Nico Price is saying something similar. He's going to start focusing more on defense, doesn't want to hit. He's taking things more serious. He wants to become a champion. In saying that, I wouldn't be shocked to see someone get knocked out because he has both hit super hard. But a fight, way I'm leaning is potentially the over, actually, which is shocking. Over 2.5 at even money, or plus 130. It wouldn't shock me if they both, sometimes you see those two crazy strikers go at it and they both are passive. Kind of like the Pereira Chaos Williams. If I told you that one went over, you'd been shocked. I kind of see
Mhm.
something similar. I wouldn't be shocked off Pereira and Nico Price kind of both keep their distance, don't want to get hit, and those spinning shit that doesn't connect.
Yeah.
I'm overall passing on this one, but I think I lean towards the over if you're looking for a bet in this fight. But yeah, what do you have, Dave?
Yeah, this is a tough one. It's really tough. They should respect each other because they're both, they both hit hard, and you don't need to get in trouble. Like Nico likes to just go forward and have reckless abandon. I don't think Michelle Pereira is the guy you want to do that against. Having said that, Nico's got more volume and spends less time showing off and more time striking. So if this goes to the scorecards, I wouldn't be surprised if he edges out Pereira. But yeah, I don't know if it's going to get there. It might. But yeah, this is a really tough one to handicap because I view it like that. So if I'm going to bet Michelle Pereira, I need it inside the distance. I think he's going to get his knockout. If so, and what do we have here? Inside the distance plus 162, 170 is the best line available. That's reasonable. I think it's reasonable. I'm not sure there's much value, but it's a little bit reasonable. And Nico Price, I do think he has the better cardio and more volume, so it's not the kind of guy I want to be fading. So ultimately, this one's a pass for me too, but it's pretty easily fight of the night. Like, does it get more exciting than this? I don't know. I'll be super disappointed if not. But yeah, this has everything that you should be looking for. I'm pretty sure this is the fight that wraps up the prelims. Oh no, it's not even. They have
No,
Condit after. That's
Condit.
crazy talk. Yeah, that should never be
This,
the last one to get people all fired up for the pay per view. Eh? Oh well,
like you said,
mismanaged
this
it.
is one you want to. This is one you want to show your casual friends if they're not really into MMA and you have them over to watch the McGregor fight. Make sure they get to your house in time for this fight. This fight should be a banger.
Yeah, this isn't going to be one of those grappling matches where two dudes are 69ing for 8 of the minutes when your casual friends are over. This is going to be a banger. It's going to be so sweet. Yeah, I'm so excited for that fight. And here's another one that I think this one is definitely priced incorrectly. Omari Akhmedov, Brad Tavares. I'll let you break it down, and then I'll tell you why I think it's priced incorrectly.
Yeah, I have a side here as well. I'm hoping we're on the same side here because we haven't talked about the fights beforehand. I am leaning Brad Tavares here. I think he's been in the UFC. It feels like forever now. I don't even know when his debut was. I can go look it up, but he's been in the UFC for a while now. He's faced a great competition. If you believe it or not, he was actually a pick'em against Israel Adesanya, who's now currently the middleweight champion back in the day. So it's not like he's a bum. Yeah, he lost to Izzy. He got knocked out by Edmund Shabazi, who's another good tough guy, tough fighter for sure. Is coming off a good win against Antonio Carlos Jr. Omar Akhmedov, he's no slouch either. He's a good wrestler. I don't think he's a Russian wrestler, but at the same time, he's not like he's Khabib. He does have some cardio issues, so at times he gets tired late in fights. But he somehow always finds a way to get fights to decision. He's getting gassed. It's like a miracle usually. I feel like when I'm watching his fights, I'm like, is anybody gonna finish him? Seems to get done. Um, yeah, I feel like Brad Tavares here is the better striker. Striker has decent initial takedown defense. If he does get taken down, I hope he can work his way back up. Um, so I do think Tavares is the right side to be on here. I haven't locked in the bet yet. I have it written down to go look after this fight to make sure, or after this breakdown to try and lock in. I like Brad Tavares at minus 165. I also like him by decision at plus 140. He's not really a knockout guy. He's going to go out there and hopefully win a decision for us. Like I said, standing advantage. I think he has a cardio advantage. If he gets taken down, I don't think Akhmedov's Khabib. He's not going to, you know, cause as much damage while he's on top of him, kind of just lays on you and picks apart, or maybe tries to go for a sub. But he's not as super dominant. Yes, so I think Tavares is the right side here. What did you have here, Dave?
I think that's fair. So this goes a couple of ways. Like, I just don't think the grappling is priced into the line efficiently. Either Akhmedov's going to have success. This is a guy landing 2.6 takedowns every 15 minutes, 50% accuracy. If he's going to do that, get takedowns, get some top control in 2 of the 3 rounds, he should be the favorite. And if he's not going to have success, then it's more of a kickboxing match. Brad Tavares should be in the minus 300s. So no matter how we slice this, I really don't think that the grappling has been priced into the line correctly. And I guess it's on the viewers to decide, is Akhmedov going to have success or not? And I do agree Tavares has very good initial takedown defense. We've seen guys get him down, though, and I don't necessarily think they're as good of wrestlers as we're seeing here in Akhmedov. Having said that, Akhmedov's he's not a great wrestler. He's a good wrestler. His striking leaves a bit to be desired, but at the same time, Tavares doesn't have that knockout power. He's more of a point fighter, and he doesn't really have the volume. Tavares is only landing 3 strikes a minute over his UFC career. Akhmedov's 2.95. So it's very similar. And the wrestling advantage for sure is Akhmedov, but can he get it down enough? I don't know what to say. I honestly don't know what to say. If Akhmedov's going to have success, like I said, he should probably be a small favorite. And if he's not going to have success, Tavares should be in the minus 300s. But what I do like here is the over. And I don't mind at all what you said, Brad Tavares by decision. I feel like this goes to decision at a much higher clip than the odds indicate. Right now, they are sitting at minus 250, and that's just too low.
Yeah, right.
It should be more like minus 350. Neither guy's a good finisher. Both guys are tough. And I think Omari's going to, probably gas himself out attempting takedowns. Whether he gets them or not, I'm not really sure. So, but yeah, that leads me to like the over. Because if he's definitely going to have success in the grappling, then Tavares is going to be in a bad position. If he's not going to have any success, Tavares is just going to pick him apart. But I think he's got a hard head and he's resilient. And I think he'll kill enough time in the clinch. So, yeah, I like the over, but that's really all I see here. And beauty's definitely in the eye of the beholder, because I don't think minus 170 or minus 175 it's at now is accurate. It's either minus 300 or he should be a dog. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's not quite a zero-sum game when we're talking about grappling, but you're either better than the guy or you're not. You're going to find out right away if you have your successes. It changes the whole landscape of the fight. And I don't think he's just going to go in and get like 3 out of 10 and do no damage and not get control time. It's probably one or the other. One guy's going to have more success, enough success there. But yeah, ultimately, Tavares is definitely better on the feet. So him by decision does sound pretty nice to me. So I'll leave you with that. I really like that over. I would put that in parlays. I don't know really what to call my lock of the night, but that feels really good. I like that over. I like that quite a bit. Do you have a favorite play of the night, Joe?
Favorite play of the night. I have a few plays of the night. I already mentioned Dustin Poirier, Irene Aldana. I also have a bet locked on Jennifer Maia, and she's like I got her at minus 185. I know some people on Jessica I. I feel like Maia is the right side there, even as a decent favorite. I do like the over that you just said. I didn't really think about the over, and looking at them, in film, I don't know why I didn't think about the over, but you're right. They both are decision eaters. It's not like Tavares is a power puncher. He's more of a volume guy, good striker. I think that's a great play. If I was to go with the play of the night, I think I'm going to go with Dustin Poirier. I'm a huge Conor McGregor fan. He's the one who got me kind of back into the sport. Or, when I was in college, it's when the Jose Aldo knockout happened. I was at a bar, kind of reignited my fandom of the sport, and been a diehard UFC fan since. So I'll always be a McGregor fan, but at the same time, I'm hedging my happiness here. I'm going to be maybe rooting for my bet to lose, but I think Poirier is the right side to be on. So
right.
I'm not, promising a Poirier lock or win, but I think that he's the right side to be on. I think that I found value there.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you guys for tuning in. For Linesniper and Joe, I'm Dave Millhouse, and we'll see you next time. Peace.